These particular flowers I just drew because I wanted to paint them for watercolor. There was no reason for the current composition. I was imagining that I will cut them out and use them later on for another project like a card. But my goal for today was simply learn how to leave most of the flower white and try to create the tension in the picture by painting around the flower with a different color. In this one, I'm also trying a color combination to see whether I can create this tension with like warm colors. So these flowers really look like the morning glory flowers, but they're not really morning glory flowers. They're kind of similar, but I have no idea what the name is. I was just studying flowers that have a form like a cone form, and this is kind of what came out. Again, because I'm trying to just leave as much of the white possible, and the flowers are actually just the tips of these flowers are a little bit like either blue or purple, just like the morning glory technically. Okay, maybe they're like the cousins of the morning glory. I am going around this piece with yellow and orange just to make the flowers a little bit pop against the background. This is like the optional part of it. I saw this one also just done with just gray on the outside or blue. It really depends what color combination you actually enjoy. I particularly like this one. I really like to work with yellows. They blend beautifully, and also oranges, which is interesting. I always struggle with the blues and with the purples, or even the greens, because they don't blend as nice as the yellows. And I've noticed this blending of yellows also on different types of paper. So not only this paper, not only this, like this is a good paper, like the Fabriano Artistico cold press is really good paper, but like even on the cheapest of papers, the yellows seem to blend perfectly. That, don't ask me, maybe it's a different formulation for yellows than it is. So I always like to start with the actual background first, because while I'm doing the background, I'm actually thinking and I'm making the battle plan on how I'm going to do the flowers. And I know some people like to start the other way around and maybe start with the flowers and not the background, but I always enjoy this. I always enjoy that I have some quiet time where I can think of, and I can, while doing the background, I can kind of plan and see the whole picture, and plan my way on the flowers and on the leaves and what am I going to do. This piece, I'm not gonna, the composition is really crappy. I mean, it has absolutely no composition. I just drew the flowers because I wanted to have something to watercolor, so that's kind of it. So I'll probably just cut them out and use them for some different projects, or just leave them like that, just have them as be the thing that I just tested, right? It doesn't have to always be something like that. I'm prepping my colors right now, and I'm going to use, the May green for the stems, and a darker green for the leaves and everything else. And the light green kind of goes up the flowers, goes up to the first flower petal, and this makes it really nice. It's like a continuation of the stem, and this time I'm just tinting the petals. I'm tinting, this is the word I need to use, tinting. I'm tinting the petals with some blue, and I believe this is cerulean blue. It's a really cool blue. It's not granulating at all, and you could really spread it around. So you can see that one of the petals is more blue than all the others, and all the others are just tinting at the tips of the petal. and this is intentional because one petal is always curved and it always looks to the viewer like it has a little bit more color. So I really like this one, and the combination actually looks really interesting, because you might think that it doesn't necessarily work, like you have a lot of blues there, a lot of blue, and with the yellow on the background you might think, okay, it's a cool color and then a warm color, that is weird, but actually I like this color combination, and I like it because everything pops because I leave the white in. And this has always been a struggle of mine, to leave the white in, and you see that I'm making kind of this mistake now. I'm adding way too much blue to these petals, but I just wanted to see how much can I push the petals, how much can I push these flowers until it doesn't make sense anymore. So I really treated this piece as a tryout. I really treated this piece as this is how I learn. So you learn by making mistakes, and sometimes you have to make intentional mistakes into your drawings just to see would this work, because unless you try you will never know. And I don't want to try and fail on big pieces that I spent hours on doing. I would rather try and fail on a smaller piece, and then I'm like, okay, I already know this is not gonna work, so I'm not gonna try it on bigger pieces. So this is why this piece is like this, and this is why I always like the small little projects, these small 1 hour things, like just spend 1 hour and try out things, because there's no hard feelings. It's not gonna be like, oh no, I did such a bad piece, because this is just the tryout, right? And the tryout cannot be bad, because the goal is to learn. The goal is not to make a piece, and even if I would make a piece, I still wouldn't be upset about it. Here is where I was noticing that green and blue makes a really weird greenish bluish color. I was like, that's something for later on to remember, right? And this is where I'm saying, like, go for it. Go and even overwork this piece or whatever you want. It's a tryout. It's literally a tryout. There's no shame in it. There's nothing, right? Once you look at it from a different angle and later on, actually the ones with like a really hard blue color really do pop. So I decided, I'm gonna do them all to see how do they look like. What if I push the envelope even more and I make it like more pronounced, the blue, like would that work? And in the end, actually I think it worked. So I'm learning, I'm doing things. So for the leaves, I'm using, I think, phthalo green, not phthalo blue. It's a bluish green, and it kind of fits well with the petals, because the petals are blue, so this green has blue in it, so it looks really cool. And I'm doing all the small leaves first, then I'll do the big leaves later on. I'm trying to also learn a little bit, like how long till I have to go in with the other color, how long can I push the envelope, how long does it stay wet, and things like that. So you're always learning something new. This particular flower types, right, are not that difficult to build, because it's basically just 3 petals up and 1 petal that is like curving around. So for me, these type of flowers are very easy to draw, not very technical in essence, and they are perfect for learning. And I will try different color combinations later on. I will try to do things like try reds, try pinks, try different colors, like, okay, what works, what doesn't. And also try out all my greens to see with which other colors can I match each of the greens, and would that look nicer or not, right? I think this is important, especially for bigger pieces, when you're not sure whether a certain green or not would work. For example, I was doing this green that was very similar to the initial green, and what happened is that I lost the leaves on the top, on the initial leaves that I did got lost in the back. So what I learned out of it is don't use very similar colors to do the underleaves. Either go very dark or totally different, like a yellow green or a different green, so that the leaves can actually stand against each other and complement each other instead of like being lost in translation. So this is again something that you never know how things will look unless you are going to start layering things on top of each other and seeing whether it works. You see that I switched the green at the end. I switched the green, and the other green makes the original leaf, which is more bluish, pop, because the other green is more neon-y. Yeah. I'm going to add a little bit even I think this is transparent orange from Spinke, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm just adding to make it more dramatic. I was like, how dramatic can I make it? Would it look nicer? Would even more orangey color or not? You know, things like that. So I went all out, and you know, I believe it's a really enjoyable piece. If you like this one and would like to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching till the end. You know, you have to not to forget to click your notification bell, because otherwise YouTube will not let you know whenever I have a new video. If you like this one, leave a comment. I try to answer all of them in due time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye.